Happy Wrestling Day, everybody! Happy Wrestling Day, everybody. Hey, coronavirus ain't killing us. The good news is we cannot get any more social distancing between ODM and the Professor. We're back for another episode of the Top of Wrestling podcast. Thank you for joining us once again. Woo, big stuff on the horizon today. A lot of things we're going to be talking about, and I can't wait to dive in. But, so might as well just say, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome to the show the man with the plan, and let's hope he has a plan to layeth the smacketh down on this fucking coronavirus. Welcome to the Top of Wrestling podcast. As always, Mr. ODM.
You out here talking about a click. The only click you need to know about is the Top of Wrestling. See, because what you're dealing with here is the Brotherhood. It's non-stop from this point on in podcast land. We take what we want, and after we take the toilet paper and the hand sanitizer, we want the gold, sucker. Coronavirus, we coming for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we at the Top of Wrestling would like to apologize for the unexpected interruption. We are experiencing technical difficulties and expect to return to our normally scheduled podcast momentarily. A priest, a pedophile, and an alcoholic walk into a bar. And that's just the first guy. And that's the third time I ended up in sensitivity training, so I don't know what to tell you.
I got to be honest, I don't even know where to go from here. I'm pretty sure that the coronavirus has definitely reached ODM because he's getting really freaking delirious pretty early for us here. How are you, buddy?
And my temp's only 102, so I'm good. No, I'm just kidding. I'm fine. Doing good, man. Happy to be here.
Things got a little rough in the beginning here for us, but I like it. A little Booker T joined us here for the beginning here, and I like that. Hey, man, here we are, episode number 14, and I have not missed one of your impressions yet. And one thing we've talked about on the side that we haven't said yet is there's going to be a to be determined date. We're going to take a minor break and maybe, complete season 1 here, refresh ourselves and get ready for season 2. And when that time comes, who knows, maybe I'll be doing the impressions, or maybe ODM just keeps it going the whole time because he's freaking killing it every time. I got to be honest, last week, my favorite impression so far, still to this date altogether, was your, all right, hang on. I thought it was Matt Hardy all the way to begin with, but then when you did Scott Steiner last week, I showed it to someone, and it was funny because I said, now listen to this, the very first one here. I had him listen to the TNA one, and when you jump in and start talking, it was actually hard to decipher which one was really Steiner and which one was you when you really put them side by side. You killed it last week, man.
Nice, I appreciate it. Yeah,
I think you need to start talking like Scott Steiner more often.
Yeah, right. No way, I won't have any voice left. Yeah, that was what I'd been thinking about for a while, and it's like, all right, I think it's just time to bust it out and go for it. I did, like I said right after that, I did spit all over my monitor, so I had fun wiping that down afterwards, but worth it.
Now, I'm not going to purposely go for it, but when we talk about last week's hat trick, but did you happen to see the trailer that I had shared to our Facebook page, the new documentary that's coming out about David Arquette?
I did not. I actually didn't catch it. I don't know how I missed it.
And I'm pretty sure the name of it, and I'd have to double check on this, or maybe you can, You Can't Kill David Arquette. And it goes from everything from him announcing his pro wrestling comeback, or whatever you want to call that. They interview people like Courtney Cox. They interview all these different people. But then you see that match, the one that got very famous, let's say, maybe 6 to 8 months ago, where it was a bloodbath.
Yes.
The guy just tore the shit out of Arquette. All that's on there. Him going through alcoholism throughout this whole thing. So it's it looks very, very interesting. So kind of perfect timing after our little hat trick last week. What's on the docket for today? we're going to chat, of course, about what's on everybody's mind. We're going to kind of give you our 2 cents and what we think is about to happen here over the next several weeks. Not just with WrestleMania. We're not just talking WWE. We're talking every wrestling event that's out there, or really just every event in general out there. It's a real rough time to be a business owner, or even at that rate, an artist, or really a wrestler. I've really gotten to know a lot of the wrestlers here in California over the last couple of months, especially with the Best of the West and Hood Slam. These guys aren't working right now. They're all losing gigs. They're all losing dates where they're supposed to be performing for people, and that's money that they're not getting now. It's not a confirmed amount of money or salary like you get sometimes in the big leagues out there. So hopefully all this turns around really quick. So we're going to be kind of giving our 2 cents on that today. But today's top topic, one of the biggest things we're going to be talking about today, is missed opportunities of the last decade. Man, you could probably, anybody right now, I bet you if you said 1, 2, 3, what's a missed opportunity, you may not even get a lot of repeats, because a lot of people are going to there's so many of them out there.
Absolutely.
Maybe we'll get a couple, because there's a couple on here that when you and I compiled this list, we're like, well, duh, of course that's going to be there. But also, I do want to say, kind of doing our shameless plugs, thank you guys so much again. It has been overwhelmingly just humbling for how many people have been listening, how many people have been downloading, paying attention, sending us messages, things like that. We really appreciate it to keep the Top of Wrestling podcast going. I know that ODM and myself, we get excited every time someone sends us something. We're getting excited about new topics, especially gearing towards WrestleMania coming up soon. But thanks again for checking us out with Spotify, iTunes, Google Play Music, Podbean, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or just general word of mouth. But before we talk about our top topic and all the favorite things we like to do here on the Top of Wrestling, first thing we always like to do is kick it off with a little bit of news with ODM.
And our first piece of news, the Professor held a Facebook concert. I had to remind him to plug the podcast. He did. I don't know if anybody heard it, but...
The Professor? What? He's a musician as well?
Yeah, well, he claims to be anyway. I don't know about all that.
Man of many talents.
No, listen, I'm going to start with, and I didn't put this in the notes. I'm kind of riffing here.
Sure.
It's no news to anybody at this point that events are getting canceled, rescheduled left and right. And I'm one of those people that, we've been talking about it for weeks, probably almost more than a month. We've been talking about, and they teased it on Dynamite that the Exalted One is coming. How could it not be Brody
It wasn't
Lee?
even just a tease. They said next week.
Yeah, they said next week. So,
which is tonight. We were supposed to tonight in
Yep.
Rochester, New York, who
I was
the
supposed to
Exalted
be
One was
there.
going to be.
Yeah. So, you know what? Here's the thing, man. I get it.
I got to say, before, my heart has been going out to you every time I read anything about this. I have a lot of friends, of course, that are supposed to be going to this. A lot of people. Everybody I'm seeing on Facebook, they're all, upset. You and your kids are all I could think about. I was like, man, for as much as we've been talking about it, like my heart just, I think of you every time I read something about Rochester, New York, and now it's not going to be till July 8th, I think. Or something like that.
Yeah, that's right.
Man. But, hey, man, I'm sorry. I hope that tonight they at least give a nod to Rochester in some way for you.
Well, it's cool because even seeing it on like Cultaholic and What Culture when they're reporting on the whole Brody Lee thing, they mention the Rochester, New York show. He's from Rochester, New York. So that's just cool. I mean, listen, Rochester, New York, for those of you who don't know, it's kind of like Springfield from The Simpsons. Mm-hmm. It really is. So, there was just so many reasons to be excited. Now, listen, July 8th, it's near my birthday. The weather's going to be beautiful. And we'll be inside. It's not going to matter. But still, I'm happy to go see it. Hopefully Jericho's still there. I know Nick's been out because of the birth of his upcoming child. I'm not sure if his wife had the baby yet or not. But I know Omega's got the broken finger. So, you know what? So, hopefully by then, everybody's back and I get to see the full cast.
Sorry, I'm going to be pessimistic, but you were supposed to be 1 week away from Blood and Guts as well. I feel like
Yeah.
that. I mean, the brawl that you could have gotten at the very end of the night, but you also we were fresh off the brand new thing with Lance Archer and Jake Roberts just sitting in the crowd this past week. So we're probably going to hear Archer finally talk.
Yeah.
Sorry, man. I don't mean to disappoint you anymore. Wow.
No, I know that. Thanks. Like I needed it anymore. No, I still think it'll be a good show. And knowing Cody the way he is, at the very least, Cody, I would think he's going to be like, listen, we know that you guys missed out, and you know damn well we planned it this way on purpose. We're going to make it up to you. At least I can dream. So, but that's that. Like I said, they're obviously rescheduling. It's July 8th, so that's really not that far away. So I'm just happy that we're still going to be able to go. So,
so I had this thought or this theory. I was like, what if, if they did the Exalted one with Matt Hardy, right?
Right.
We've talked about that. But then everybody would have thought, what about Brody Lee? Well, who's to say that Jake Roberts only had one client? I thought it would have been great to at least get Archer and Brody Lee together, both huge powerhouses.
Nice.
Think about them as some
That
tag
would be
champs
dope.
together. I think when you and I did our, it was either in one of our very first episodes or our vaulted episodes. I just went to the New Japan in San Jose event. Now, I had been following New Japan pretty decently. At this moment, Lance Archer is the U.S. champion. And it promotes that, or, in between each match, it shows you the graphic of who's going to be in the next match. The next match was Lance Archer taking on, I couldn't even remember who it was right now because this is all I recall from this at all. They show the graphic, it gets quiet. Someone like 7 rows back behind me just screams at the top of his lungs, "Everybody dies!" And I go, oh my God, are we done? Am I dying here tonight?
Yeah,
what the fuck's going
right.
on? Didn't realize that was a thing for Lance Archer that night until that night. I kind of got scared for a moment now. So every time I see him, I'm like, kind of a scary dude. No. Pairing him with Jake Roberts, it's kind of part news, kind of part, Wednesday Night Wars, but dude, what an awesome pairing. Archer's a big guy. To have the psychological side with Jake Roberts, oh man, I'm sorry again. Tonight would have been so cool.
Oh, but that's cool. Thanks for rubbing it in. On to our next
no
piece
problem.
of news. On to the next piece of news. Listen, a lot of this is going to be very COVID-19 centric. SmackDown.
Who would have thought it all began with someone just drinking a Corona beer?
Oh, Jesus, go home. Wait, you are home. Never mind. So SmackDown obviously broadcast from the Performance Center this past Friday. It was interesting. I thought they did a really good job. Triple H is really, you got to respect him as much as you may hate him, only because he is a locker room guy, right? He paid his dues. He paid the ultimate dues, and he gave us Stone Cold in the process. I mean, the dude is, listen, you can say what you want. It is what it is. But him opening the way he did, it made it. Like, I think that set the tone for the entire episode. And then he was on commentary, and it appears he was only supposed to be on the intro segment because they even said we're going to have different people rotating in. And apparently the initial response in the moment to Triple H being on commentary was so overwhelming that they're like, no, fuck it, keep going with it. And I think it made the show so much more enjoyable. It was like DX Triple H almost.
And it's funny because I did read somewhere, someone was like, man, you know what? Fuck it. If this is going to be, an empty arena type WrestleMania or whatever, let him do commentary. He was great. It was awesome. All right, so I didn't watch it live, of course. One thing I did catch was a couple of different tweets. One from Bully Ray, another one from the Blueprint, Matt Morgan, who I've always been a giant fan of. I feel like there's so many missed opportunities with that guy, especially even when he got over to TNA. But anyway, that's a rabbit hole I don't need to go down right now. Both of them said, hats off to WWE. Excellent event for what you did. Still putting on a show. And I said, all right, I have to go see this because, I've seen Empty Arena. I was like, all right, whatever. Yeah, it's probably going to be just kind of a lot of BS. And everything I was catching on YouTube highlights as you were kind of scrolling was, you see Roman in the ring, you see Cena and Bray Wyatt. I go, so it was just a night full of promos. Okay, whatever. But then I actually watched Hardy versus Corbin insert an entire arena filled with people. They went on like people were there.
Jeff was still calling out. Jeff was still calling out to the crowd.
Exactly. That's what I thought was really cool. We're still entertaining, whether it's people in the arena at home. It doesn't matter. It was just like even the whole entrance, everything you did was still. It was the full show, minus the people, and I thought that was pretty noble to do. I think, unfortunately, I think it's going to be a giant trend probably for almost everything now coming up soon. We're going to have a lot of empty arena type things if things want to continue. I actually know that the Best of the West here in California is doing it this weekend. They're only the wrestlers are going to be in the arena, and they're filming it, and it's going to go out live for people to see because somehow the show has to go on. So that being the case, where does the show go from here, in your opinion, for WWE?
Well, it's really interesting, and I'm going to use this point to kind of take it from there. The first match was Bayley and Sasha versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross.
Did you see the mess up?
I heard about it. Okay, so a quick aside, another piece of news for the international. Apparently, for a lot of the international crowds, since there was no crowd, they didn't work through the break. They just stopped and had a conversation. And apparently,
so this is what you're going to do next, right? All right, you're going to do that?
Probably
okay,
not
cool.
even. Probably not even. Girl, what'd you do to your hair? So, and
you call me sexist. That's messed up.
I never once called you sexist. I thought that was inherently understood. But anyway, Bayley came out on SmackDown, okay? And they started cutting their promo. And it was weird. It was surreal because they were doing it to the crowd. There was no crowd. But they were doing it to the crowd. Without Bayley getting booed or jittered by the fans, she cut one of the best promos she ever cut.
Yeah.
Her cadence, her delivery, everything was perfect. And it just goes to show you what a large arena full of fans can do. So where do they go from here?
Well, hang on. Before you say where do they go from here, it's funny you just say that. That's why when people shit on someone like Roman Reigns, I give any one of you wrestling marks the opportunity. Take a microphone and go in front of 16,000 people and try to cut a word-for-word promo without stuttering, fucking up your lines, remembering everything you need to do, put passion into it, be a character, and have all these people yelling shit at you. It's a lot to deal with, man. So you're right. It goes to show you there's a lot of credibility behind anybody who can grab that mic and go out there and not be jittered by the crowd. Like, you look at Cena, he's just so comfortable on the mic, right? Like, how does he not move? Like, you're right, absolutely. Bayley had an amazing promo. So maybe she needs to get herself in her head. Hey, no one's in the arena.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, where do we go from here, man? WrestleMania is just a couple of weeks away.
Well, something I didn't write down, but at this point, I think Vince has been, I don't know if he's been quoted as saying or if it's paraphrasing, but I did see that he'll put it on at the Performance Center if he has to. Now, one of the reasons there's the issue with Tampa Bay is not just a matter of, hey, I'm doing this hell or high water. There's also insurance involved. So there's a payout to WWE if they can't hold it there because they have insurance basically saying if something screws this up, we're still getting paid. And who's on the hook for that, I don't know. So it's a whole big legal battle. It's unfortunate. Bad timing.
Could they hold it inside the actual arena that they were planning to and not at the Performance Center, just empty?
That would be crazy. But I don't like that. I'd rather just do it at the PC. You know what I mean?
I just meant more because it's already rented for the night.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know how that all works, but
it's kind of like we had this big birthday thing planned and she didn't show up. Well, fuck it. Let's drink anyway. Let's all hang here and party. I feel like that's kind of the same way they should do it. I don't know, man. WrestleMania at the Performance Center, it's going to be really
Hey, it's not ideal.
weird.
I think for SmackDown, Raw, and NXT it works, but
Well, hang on. Let me take that back. Look at the card right now. This is a regular pay-per-view card. It's not even like it's a WrestleMania card. You know how you have some pay-per-views, you're like, this is a Raw. This right here is kind of a regular pay-per-view to me. This could be a Survivor Series or a SummerSlam. There's big matches on it, but not go-home WrestleMania-worthy matches where guys are really getting their opportunities right now. Right now I'm seeing Goldberg, Cena, nothing against some of these guys here. I'm really, really not trying to bitch about them, but at the same point, those guys haven't been on TV all year. Why are they getting the opportunity that at WrestleMania you should? And you've heard us bitch about this. I'm not going to keep going on it, but so maybe do it at the Performance Center. Get all that crap over with.
yeah, I don't know, man. It's not the prettiest of pictures, that's for sure.
Kind of more, I would wish, or I hope. So I've heard that the contingency possibility is something that it would happen in June or July. WrestleMania in the summer or something like that.
Yeah, but that's summer. You got SummerSlam already, and that's like, to me, that's one of the big four. That's one of my favorites.
And that's true, but okay, but what else are you going to do at this point? You still got to produce your WrestleMania. That's more important than SummerSlam.
2-day card, WrestleMania, then SummerSlam right after the next day.
See, I kind of already...
Bro!
No, but that's not June and July. That's August. That's SummerSlam's in August.
Well, then do it in August.
Let's just say you did it in June. Let's just say you were able to do it in June. This is the time that, yes, you go, you know what? We do have a lot of things going on. Maybe we could pull off a 2-day event for WrestleMania now. We should have been doing it this entire time right now, but we didn't. You know, Wrestle Kingdom got the jump on us or New Japan, so maybe we should do it. None of it's going to happen, by the way. I keep seeing all these memes and GIFs about how, you know, it doesn't matter. Vince McMahon's the one that's like, this is still happening. It doesn't matter. You know, like this is, from what I've read online, it's not ideal for Vince. He doesn't want to do an empty arena WrestleMania. It's not what he wants because, you know, it's the showcase of the Immortals. It's a big spectacle. But he also doesn't want to cancel it. But I've read, you know, WWE, they're not canceling it. But everywhere else you read, yeah, Tampa Bay said, that's fine. We'll pull the plug for you. It's okay.
Yeah, right.
What's your best case scenario, worst case scenario?
Well, I mean, I think
April 5th.
I think the best case scenario is they're able to continue on, perhaps with a limited crowd. I don't see that being the case.
Most places, you can't even have 50 people or more right now.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it would be hilarious.
You have more wrestlers than that.
No, I've already got it. Fantasy booking. Another side take. Listen, this is taking a lot longer than it should, and I apologize for that. The thing
this is why we're doing this. I told you the news
no.
on the side. I told you everything's blending today. One
day we're going to do an episode. There's not going to be a format. It's just going to be us fantasy booking for 3 hours. And it's probably going to be our favorite one. Maybe not yours, but ours.
True.
You know what would be hilarious? You only let enough people into the stadium so that everybody in their seat is 6 feet away from each other. So you'll have like 50 people in the stadium. They'll just be spaced out. Dude,
you definitely got that social distancing.
Make a wish. Every person is a make a wish person, and you fucking there you go, dude. The PR for that.
I feel like someone needs to hear this and get this out right now to WWE. Be like, you guys can still make this work right now.
Yeah, well, you know what? Maybe I'll tweet it at them. We'll see what happens. Somebody else will take advantage of it. That's fine. Worst case.
Actually, you know what? Honestly, all right. So that's best case. I like that best case. That's a very, very, even if it's unheard of opportunities, it's okay. It's a very best case.
Unlikely
scenario.
too, but yeah.
Hey man, if that happens, honest to God, awesome thing. But worst case.
The worst case is that they can't do it as scheduled and they don't think of anything clever, I guess. I mean, that's a burden to put on them. I'm not trying to put that burden on them. But worst case, it's not going to happen. So, and honestly, I'm going to put the onus on this on WWE because They can't book a week-to-week show. We're going to talk about that at length. So, and they certainly can't do 2 shows. So, yeah, I don't know. It's likely going to be, the worst case is going to be them just not being able to figure out how to recoup from that.
That's funny you call that the worst case scenario. I call that the best case scenario.
No. But if WWE fucks it up, that's the thing. If WWE's booking it and they're like, we'll just do it, I don't know, man. We'll do it on Halloween. We'll call it Halloween Havoc WrestleMania. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's just some dumb shit like that.
Here is, all right, best case scenario. And I mean this. This is going to be not necessarily, I don't mean not political of me. This will be more just idealistic or whatever you want to call it, realistic. Best case scenario, WWE falls in with the times. Who are you? I'm not trying to be a piece of shit here and shit on the WWE or anybody like that. I'm trying to say right now, you have NBA, NHL. I mean, everything in the world is stopping and shutting down right now. If you go on with it, this is why it kind of ties into the worst case scenario. This is the worst case scenario. If you put this event on, it's the worst case scenario. Why? Because it's showing people that you are so money hungry because you still want to put on the event for all the people to. And I'm not talking about if you put it. Hang on, let me back this up. If you put it on at the Performance Center, that's fine. I don't care. But if you try to put it on in this place with trying to actually fill the arena and doing as a real show as normal, you are proving how much Saudi Arabia blood money that you've heard about is real. Go ahead. I can see you pointing. You're like, I gotta say something.
You're leading me right into the worst case scenario. You know what the worst case scenario is?
They put it on and they get in trouble, or they get shit on for it.
They host it in Saudi Arabia.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Show's over.
God.
Show's over.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I didn't even think of that.
Yep. Would you put it past them?
Well, the problem you have, Sami Zayn's not welcome there.
They give a shit. They'll strip him of the title a week before. You know damn well they would.
Damn, you're absolutely right.
They don't give a shit.
Bryan go over
Anybody
there?
that's
I thought
got
Daniel
a problem
Bryan's
with
not
it,
a fan.
You know what I mean? The list is short of people that actually say, we're not going there. Right?
Wow.
It is short. Yeah.
Wow. If that actually happens, I'm going to be really shocked.
That's the worst case scenario.
That you could,
because then fuck you, right? Because, dude, you know damn well we don't like these, but we're going to, you know what I mean?
I don't want to say it's F you America, but that's really kind of like that's what we're doing. Well, we can't do it here. We'll do it somewhere else. And it's like, and I get that WWE would probably be in the mind frame of we're trying to still put on a great live performance show for you. Hey, man, I get it. I really do. But falling with the times. We're all struggling right now. So how about just provide a different form like everybody else has to? Why, you said that already earlier about me. Yeah, I had to cancel a gig. So what am I going to do? I'll go live. I'll play for the people that I can't play for live tonight in a bar. I'll do a Facebook live stream. Why not? You know what I mean? I was ready to perform anyway, kind of like the guys. You know what I mean? But I can't go into an empty bar and sit there and play. It's going to be kind of weird. You know what I mean? It kind of the same way with a lot of these empty arena matches or events. Doing it at the Performance Center, the way they did SmackDown, awesome. I assume for tonight, obviously we're recording this, but tonight for Raw, when they record that or when they have that, it's going to be done in the Performance Center again. Everything is going to be Performance Center from here on out for the unforeseeable future. WrestleMania should not be any different. I mean, they just canceled the Ring of Honor 16th anniversary event. They canceled TNA tapings, everything is done. So I'm just saying that I really think that we should, as much as I am a big WrestleMania fan, let's go unprecedented. 1 year we had to skip it because everything else is skipped, everything else is canceling, right? Why not?
Nobody cares about most of the shit on this card anyway. You screwed all the booking up before at a shit pay-per-view that didn't need to happen, so yeah.
Look at the meme I sent you. WrestleMania canceled. Not because of the coronavirus, just because it's a really shitty card.
Exactly.
And you know, and one more thing to add to that, if they do cancel, I'm kind of looking forward to it in a small way, because I'm going to make my own WrestleMania day. I think I'm going to put together either, I don't know, maybe watch a couple of different WrestleManias or make a good day of it. Watch something old school and enjoy WrestleMania day, because I'm pretty sure that if it went live this year, I'm not going to be that happy at the end of the day.
Yeah, man. Listen, I feel like I have to watch it. It's the Super Bowl, right? It's the Super Bowl.
Would you watch a Super Bowl with an empty arena? Well, I guess you would. I mean, if football is fine. I mean, it's like watching a high school game at that point. But it's different with wrestling, man. You feed off that live energy. Jeff Hardy did it at the Performance Center, but I'd like to see you pull it off in a in a full blown arena like that. You know, it's kind of like Rock and Mankind. It was awesome. We saw Sting and Angle do it. Awesome. You can't do an entire night of it, though.
Yeah, listen, again, for SmackDown, for NXT, it worked. You know, NXT was a crowd. They actually still had the crowd there. But SmackDown, it was weird, but again, it was good. Listen, you know, there's always been the rumors, you know, people like to speculate online saying that AEW should do it at the Hardy compound. And I mentioned that last week. I'm like, something.
You did.
It's that effect. It's that effect of nobody there. And the final deletion was great because they started in a ring. It was just in this fucking 1,000-acre plot of land, and it worked. It was cool, you know. So I'm okay with that. Is it going to get tiresome? Sure. I guess now's the time to see who the real innovator is.
I just hope it all just switches around really quick.
I think NXT in an empty arena should just start every episode with William Regal looking all calm. The camera pans to him slowly. He slowly lifts the microphone to his lips and just says, "War Games!"
You know, speaking of War Games, let's talk about Blood and Guts. From what I understand, next week it's going to be going forward. They are still going to be doing Blood and Guts. I'm not sure where they're going to be doing it from, but everybody said it's War Games, right? Blood and Guts is War Games. Well, they are going extremely old school War Games. They're going WCW, NWA War Games.
Yep.
Because they're putting a roof on this thing. WWE's version, you can get out. You can go to the top, and if you climb out and leave, then you're submitting for your entire team. But also, in the old school version, pins don't matter. You either submit or the team surrenders. So, that is the version that Blood and Guts is going to be for AEW. I like it. You're separating yourself a little bit from the other version. As a matter of fact, you're kind of saying what WWE does, that's cool. We're doing the real version. Well, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But hey, what other kind of news do we have?
Well, the one piece of news
that's not coronavirus related
is I would like to wish you, and even though it's late for the listeners, a happy 3/16 day.
Oh, hell yeah!
Hey, did you happen to see earlier today actually announced Jushin Thunder Liger is going to be heading into the Hall of Fame for WWE?
I did, which is hilarious because he's had one match in WWE and it was actually in NXT. So there's that.
Tyler Breeze, is that correct?
Tyler Breeze, Brooklyn 2015. Beat him with a Liger bomb.
I don't... never mind. Honestly...
Just when you think
we would probably make this show go a 4-hour event if I sat here talking about the bogusness of the Hall of Fame. Because every time they put someone really good in, they do something really stupid. One of them was British Bulldog is finally heading into the Hall of Fame. I'm like, yes, this is awesome. Jushin Thunder Liger. Why? For what reason?
Probably
a couple years ago was Kid Rock.
It's the opposite of Vince's typical stance, right? Because it's Vince... Because Vince is typically like, nah, fuck that guy. He's dead to us. Like, literally, he does that. You're dead to us. Jushin Thunder Liger had one match, and it was in NXT in 2015. You think Vince knows who the fuck Jushin Thunder Liger is? All right? So,
shockingly, yes, because they did do actually a lot of stuff in Tokyo back in the day.
They did.
So, I would say, yes, only him. Anybody else, he's never heard of.
So... It's just them being like, yo, this dude just retired, legendary career. We're going to put him in our Hall of Fame too. Because then, you know, your name is in that list. Because there is a list for Liger, let's be honest. So I think that's what it is. Yeah, he's just like, fuck that. No, we're getting in on this too.
Look, I think the WWE Hall of Fame is probably equal to, maybe less than, but equal to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Sure.
You know what I mean? It's like, you look at it, you're like, yeah, there's people that really, really deserve to be in there. And then you're like, really?
Yeah.
That's in there? Are you serious? That's what it is. Honestly, the only Hall of Fame I really could look at, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty good, is Baseball Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because of the eliteness that it goes through for all the people to vote and everything like that. Like, it's not like WWE there. It's just like, who do we want to put in this year? You know what? Coco Beware used to take a lot of pins for us. Let's put him in there.
Yep.
Everybody goes to the Coco Beware whatever analogy when it comes to talking about the Hall of Fame. You know, Owen Hart, not in there. Coco Beware is. You know, like a lot of guys like that. So Brian Pillman, not in there. Coco Beware is. So I really don't even care at this point about who's really in. So it is just funny to me to see that, you know, JTL is in this year. Also going in the same time as JBL. Are you serious? Because he held the world title and was a tag team champion with Farouk? Really?
Him and the Acolytes was the best of his career. I know a lot of people
hang
disagree.
on. Is he going in solo or are they going in together?
Oh, no. Solo.
Jesus.
Listen, a lot of people loved his JBL gimmick when he was the champ. I wasn't a fan. I liked him in the Acolytes and the APA.
Eddie Guerrero made JBL.
Yeah.
The moment that program was over,
Yep.
Nobody gave a shit. He started going against Undertaker, and people were like, just take the title from him, please. And it wasn't like that whole, we're chasing the person from the title like Triple H. You're like, oh, no, he kind of deserves to be in there. Yeah, you're all right with that at that time. JBL, you're like, why is he in here? That's why when Cena took it from him, everybody's like, yes. A couple months later, we're like, fuck, well, I guess it's better than JBL.
Yeah.
I was never a JBL fan. One of my favorite moments, though, ever, was at WrestleMania 25 when I was there live. He lost to Rey Mysterio pretty quick in an Intercontinental title match, and he grabs the mic and says, I quit. And that's when he officially retired from wrestling in the ring, and that was an exciting moment for me because I never liked him.
But you know what? We do have that one fleeting moment where he got... Oh, no, wait. Actually, no. I have it backwards. Never mind. It just points to his douchiness even more when he cold-cocked Blue Meanie.
Oh, man. No, that was backwards in time, but yes, that was, oh, geez. Let's not even talk about that one. You know, we will say this. I'm kind of shocked that he is going in, of all people right now, because in the last couple of years, he's been in a little bit of heat with his...
We used to have Mauro Ranallo on the main roster shows, and now he's in NXT, which, you know what? In hindsight, I'm glad. Fine.
No, totally, absolutely fine with it. But at the same point, Moro's too smart and too good of an announcer to be on Raw or SmackDown because they want to promote, they want to say the same shit over and over as where he wants to call wrestling holds. Different game. But yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the whole bullying thing or whatever you want to call it from him within the last couple of years, and you're putting him in the Hall of Fame this quick? Balls. That takes balls. What else we got for news? Anything else? Anything that's noteworthy?
I don't know, man. We went down a tangent. So, Jeff Hardy's Twist of Fate, if you happen to catch it on this recent SmackDown, it has been renamed. I didn't know if it looked like a... No, it didn't really, though. I don't know, man. I was confused. It's not the Twist of Fate anymore. It is the Twist of Fury. Now, apparently Matt Hardy owns the trademark on Twist of Fury. He did not, according to Matt Hardy, did not deny WWE or Jeff the use of that name. So apparently...
I wonder if it's because he's going to be using Twist of Fate. Matt will be using Twist of Fate on whatever promotion he goes to.
Right, but I think this just goes to show that Vince is like, well, fuck that then, I'm not doing it. It was like the Delete thing, or the Broken Matt Hardy. It was the same thing. He could have used Broken. He could have. But nope. He's like, nope, fuck that. We're changing it. because you're not.
No,
you're
they
not
couldn't at
anti-thing
first,
anymore.
though, remember?
No, but they got to a point where they could. They did.
Okay.
They had the opportunity. But it wouldn't matter because even if they didn't, and Vince's like, no, he wants his own thing. That's what it is.
Yeah, and look what happens with that. It doesn't matter. We're all going to still call it the twist of fate. That's like saying, that's like if all of a sudden Roman Reigns was doing diving shoulder tackles. It's a fucking spear.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, you know what? We're kind of blending everything in this week with how things are going to be going because we know that just really heading in with everything last week, but heading into this week with this COVID-19, this awesome thing that we're all dealing with, we'll just kind of blend in here. Wednesday Night Wars right now. We'll just kind of really quickly go over. Last week was a different type of NXT type of event. Not majorly, still in the same type of atmosphere with that small type crowd. I think, if anything, it was pretty more close to home. Except it did end with an awesome battle between Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. Where do we go from here, man? Well, hang on, I don't even know because we keep saying where do we go from here, but who knows? TakeOver is most likely not going to happen. If we're not doing a WrestleMania, we're definitely not doing a TakeOver. Maybe they'll do it on a performance center type thing with them, but what are we leading to with these two guys? I mean, what kind of matches are left between them? They've had unsanctioned. They've had street fights. I mean, really, at the end of the day, what's left?
Well, and here's the funny thing, because my thing would have been loser leaves NXT, but Ciampa's already made it clear he does not want to go to the main roster. I don't know how Gargano feels about it, so I guess you could go that route, right? Because Ciampa's so over, he beats Gargano, Gargano goes to the main roster. But again, I don't know if that's the case. I don't want that, though. I want him to stay in NXT, so I don't know, man. Maybe a 3 stages of hell or 2 out of 3 falls. 3 stages.
I think that's best case scenario. Would be really cool. Yeah. Well, and Gargano's great for 2 out of 3 falls matches. He had 2 with Adam Cole just last year.
Yep.
But we did see that women are advancing right now to go into a ladder match for a number 1 contendership right now. We have Tegan Knox is actually moving forward, and so is Mia Yim. So they're going to be heading into a ladder match for that supposed, alleged, whatever we want to call it, takeover. Because we know Rhea Ripley's not going to be fighting that night because she's going to be taking on Charlotte Flair the next night. But we did get to see the Broserweights again against the Undisputed Era in another fantastic match. I love watching these guys. They're just so awesome. Did you happen to see the really cool, I don't know, we'll call it a TikTok or a Vine or I don't know, whatever you kids are calling it, where Pete Dunne is standing in front of a mirror. You're laughing. You saw this.
Yeah. Well, there's a few of them.
Okay, well, Pete Dunne is standing in front of the mirror in his normal clothing, hair up. In the background is Riddle with his hair down, wearing the hat, wearing his normal clothing. And they're both just kind of doing their thing. Light turns off, it switches back on, they completely change gear, but except Pete Dunne is actually in the background with his hair down this time, and Matt Riddle's in the front. So basically, they just switched places real quick. And is that the one you saw?
Okay, so it's called Flip the Switch. There was one.
Oh my God, is that a thing that you kids are calling it?
I don't know if it's the only
You
ones
tweens.
the only ones that I've seen has been wrestling. There's one and it's Scorpio Sky and Orange Cassidy.
Okay. Ooh, I'll have to check that one out.
And I think there was one more, I can't remember though. But yeah. But you know what you didn't do? You didn't properly introduce the segment. You spend all this time producing little bumpers, and you never stop to let everybody know that it's
Wednesday Night Wars!
All right, man, whatever. I got really excited. I was just really talking about all the coronavirus stuff, and maybe it's infected me that I forgot to use some of our bumpers. Whatever.
You're just excited. Because you're talking about NXT. You're not talking about SmackDown. If it was SmackDown, you would have stopped 100 times to
That's true.
take in the pain.
Well, Keith Lee also defended and defeated. He did beat Cameron Grimes, so I'm not sure where we're going here with the North American title either.
Well, first of all, do you think this match went a little too long?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it just dragged on a little too much. I wanted to see Lee be a little more dominant. But we did get another appearance from Damian Priest at the end of the match. So you're not a big fan? I don't like the whole Archer thing. Like, I don't get that. Like, bro, you're not an Archer. Like, why are you?
Right.
But he can work, and so it's probably going to be a triple threat with Dijakovic, or him and.
I would just rather
and,
see him and Dijakovic one more time.
right.
Put them in a 2 out of 3 falls hell, or like a 3 stage to hell match, man. Those guys can go. I don't care for. I liked Punishment Martinez. I don't like Damian Priest. Same guy, right? But that Archer thing is really, really stupid. When he stops in the middle of the ring to just pull a thing that's not there, I'm like, come on, man.
Right.
And it's just weird. I don't know. Like, I just be an ass kicker because right now you don't see Dijakovic coming out there and doing random things or Keith Lee. So why are you going to stand in the middle of the ring playing with your toy imaginary weapons? I digress.
Yeah, no.
Let's talk AEW. Now, that was an exciting show this week. All right, I'm going to go ahead and say right now, I personally think AEW had the better show this week. In terms of not necessarily just moving forward storyline, but I would say just more captivating show this week. I actually really was into Dynamite.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, NXT had some good stuff. Like I said, the Keith Lee Cameron Grimes match I couldn't get into. It just didn't make any sense. I don't think you need to make Cameron Grimes look that good.
Well, you knew Lee wasn't going to lose. That's why I think I spent more time on AEW.
But that's okay. That's okay
Right.
because, most people know, right? You see Hulk Hogan on Saturday Night Main Event most of the time, you knew damn well he wasn't going to lose. There, you had your moments, right? And it's the same with NXT now. You knew damn well Cameron Grimes wasn't going to beat him. You didn't need to make him look that good. But Broserweight's Undisputed Era with Velveteen Dream being involved right before the match, and the Gargano Ciampa part pieces, dude, awesome way to end the show, right? But AEW had more consistency across the show. Not to say that it was perfect. It wasn't flawless. It wasn't.
No, because I didn't even care for a lot of the matches, which is really funny. That's the funny. I didn't even care for having the women's match and Blade and Butcher with Jurassic Express. I didn't really care for necessarily some of it, but it was pushing forward with things and starting to actually progress some guys. So I think maybe that's why I was a little more into Dynamite this week. Maybe it was the crowd difference. I don't know.
Yeah, could be. NXT 697,000 viewers, AEW 766,000 viewers.
It's funny. It really the war. If it is an Wednesday night war, AEW has been winning nonstop, man.
Yeah.
Like their ratings have always been higher. And I know that WWE said that this is a marathon, and they are putting on some really good stuff. But are they content with the numbers they have, and they just don't care, or are they going to try and beat AEW? Like, what's the plan?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if Triple H is kind of just, saying, listen, we're doing what we're doing and we know we're doing it well, which they are. AEW is, I guess, yeah, man, I don't know. AEW has more flash, more pizzazz. NXT is super chill. It's dimly lit. It's, all black and yellow. It's small, right? It's intimate. And
Sure.
If they don't want us, I can see Triple H not wanting. It's not a matter of being stubborn. We're not going to change our core product just to account for a ratings gap, right? We'll figure out a different way to do it. So I think he's just going to stay the course. I don't think there's reason to panic right now. I think most people are happy that the only thing that people are pissed about right now is that they're both on at the same time on the same night, right? It's cool because you get the wars, but then that means, all right, well, that means I got to watch one tomorrow or I got to watch one after. But ultimately, who cares? You'd have to do that anyway. So, no, I think Triple H is going to run the ship and just not worry about it. He's going to work on just improving the product without going to desperate lengths, and I think he can pull that off.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you on that. I stay the course. Absolutely.
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing left to talk about with NXT was the Gargano Ciampa brawl.
Innovative. I like how they did it because of where you were, what you had to deal with, what you had to work with. It was awesome.
They were throwing
well put together.
weights at each other.
Yeah. It was really cool,
yeah.
especially because, again, it's where it all began for them. So it was really cool just to kind of keep that going for them. AEW, I thought it started off pretty hot. You know, you started off Keith Lee versus Cameron Grimes on NXT, but AEW, Cody, I don't give a shit if you're a fan of Cody or not. People say, oh, there's just the Cody marks. Dude's over, man. He walks out, the place goes nuts.
Yep.
All I want is to catch a weight belt just once. I think that's about the equivalent of getting Bret Hart glasses at this point.
Right.
So he had a great match with Ortiz. I mean, just a good, hard-hitting back-and-forth match. Ortiz, of course, you know, he's grown on me. You made me a fan. But then, of course, we have a jumpings right after that, and then we have Omega and Matt Jackson coming out for the save on that. I absolutely, you know, I'm kind of bouncing a little bit here, but I'm going to let you go ahead and say it. We knew the main event of the night was going to be Hangman Page and a mystery partner. He never even got to choose his own mystery partner, which I find to be a weird storyline thing, but all right, whatever. But it worked out great because it was Dustin Rhodes. I was cool with that. I like Dustin. I've always been a big fan of him, especially in his later years, man. It's like he's Benjamin Button, man. He's going backwards. He's just getting better and better. But I want you to give me the name of the tag team between Chris Jericho and Sammy Guevara.
Oh, they're stable with
their own personal. Yes, I don't mean the Inner Circle. I know that you're a big fan of this new tag name.
So Jericho and Sammy Guevara, obviously part of the Inner Circle, have tagged several times together, and apparently they are now Les Sex Gods. I expect nothing less from Jericho.
I absolutely love that he is just openly taking a young Sammy Guevara right under his wing, right there publicly. You know that it's not just like on TV and like once they're all done, he's like, all right, go away. I'm done talking to you now. You can tell it's a real thing, how they're working together, Inner Circle. Great name. I love it. I think it's an awesome name. We already kind of talked about this a little bit, but Lance Archer was Jake Roberts' client. So that was during the middle of, that during the Cody match?
Cody
it was,
Ortiz, yeah. It was underwhelming to me because it's like, okay, why are you trying to sandwich this in now? Can we do it post-match? You know?
Well, because they had to do the jump.
They sat down. He tried to climb the gate a couple times, and Jake stopped him. It
was kind of weird. Yeah, no, it was underwhelming on that. Okay, I'll give you that.
But still, awesome. I'm happy with the choice. I would have been happy with Brody, but I think Lance is a better fit.
I don't even really care about the women's match. Man, whatever happened. Yeah, B. Priestley turned. But what I really, really loved, I'm promising you, I swear I rewound it because I rewind, whatever. I thought it was a well put together, very classic Christopher Daniels type promo.
Oh.
So SCU like to fuck with and mock anybody else. And he did that by doing a very Dark Order reenactment type video of his own. And oh my God, I had to watch it twice. He is awesome. I've always been a Christopher Daniels fan. The dude is funny. He's charismatic. I think he's a great, just overall actor when you look at it. You know what I mean? Like just with how he can be. What'd you think of that whole vignette?
Yeah, it was weird because it was just the Dark Order vignette, just with him over it, making fun of everybody. You could definitely see the comedy, and when I say comedy, it wasn't over the top. It was good, right? It was CD being CD. So I think it worked. I still feel like they're fucking with us, right? I still feel like they're saying, it's
like Christopher's still in. You think he's in there. Yeah.
You know, even in SCU's response to him. So I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough one. But, ultimately it furthered the story, right?
It does. You know, it's funny you say that because I'm not sure. I know that you are not necessarily a 2002, 2003, and 4 avid fan of Ring of Honor back then.
Right.
Or you just didn't watch a lot of that. But Christopher Daniels was the leader of the Prophecy.
Right.
With BJ Whitmer, and I want to say Dan Moff, if I'm pretty sure. And they feuded against Second City Saints, Punk, and all of that, and there are a lot of, and he was the one that everybody followed. It really fits. He really could be the Exalted One. Yeah. Why wouldn't he be? He would be perfect for it. Go back to any of him, even in his early days of TNA, when he was doing some of the Prophecy stuff at the same time in Ring of Honor. He was the fallen angel, Christopher Daniels. And I'm not talking about the guy that walks around and dancing and having fun like SCU. I'm talking about a guy that came out in very dark clothing and looked goth-like and almost possessed, right? Like could have fit in the Ministry of Darkness back in the day if you wanted to compare it to something. So I think he could still be the Exalted One. I think he's in the running. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I mean, they had him come out as the Fallen Angel maybe on one of the pay-per-views a while ago, and I think that was before they started teasing the whole Exalted One for the Dark Order. So
is that when he went to go do the move off the top rope, or like, and he landed right on the back of his head on? Or no, that was just a Dynamite maybe, or AEW Dark, the one where they botched his move and that began the whole Dark Order thing. I didn't know if that was roughly around that time.
No,
but I think he went with the Fallen Angel thing because Scorpio and Kaz were in the tag team title picture and everything. So maybe that's why he went with the Fallen Angel. I don't know. I still think you're right, man. I think he could still be an Exalted One. What if they just made it? Yeah, we said there was an Exalted One, but what if the Exalted One is a trio of people like Matt Hardy, Brody Lee, and Christopher Daniels? Like, what if this becomes a giant, huge stable instead of just one guy we're all worried about? What if they all join? That I'm excited about Dark Order because I've been really not a fan of it.
Yeah, I think they've been getting better. They've pulled me in more.
They have, but I can't buy some of those other guys as real big name talent players. So they need to get bigger names in that group if you want to get the Dark Order. I just think it's nothing against Uno or any of those guys. I'm just saying that I think you need to get a couple of bigger names in there to make it credible at this moment.
Right.
Or make some bigger moves. Start taking some people out and taking them out in body bags. Do something crazy.
Well, Darby's got that.
That's very true. MJF, Butcher, and Blade, I think, is an eventual stable in the making. They've done a lot together already. I think that would be a great put-together stable with them, Bunny and Wardlow. I'm not saying you have to put together stables in every little... I'm a very big stable guy. You already know that.
Yeah.
I mean, our first episode was
It's like New
stables.
Japan, though.
It is. Yeah, if you're not aligned with someone, you're screwed. That's
it
kind of
doesn't
the way
mean
I've
they
always
have to roll together, right?
Sure.
But they still got each other's back, and
they tag well together. I love watching Butcher and Blade. I think that they are actually a really good tag team. I like seeing them together. Pairing them with MJF is just good because they don't have to talk. He's got it. He's got everything you need to do. He'll draw all the heat you need to vocal-wise. Death Triangle finally has their first match together as a team, taking out Private Party and Joey Janela. Surprisingly, I'm actually into this match a lot more than I anticipated because I didn't anticipate much from Joey Janela. When I saw it was Private Party, I'm like, okay. And when Joey Janela was like, no. I'm like, you could have put anybody else in here. I'm just not really a fan of his. But he's getting better. He is getting away from that hardcore style. This match, the only issue, of course, is there are no tag rules. It really doesn't make sense, and it's just confusing to watch. But if you just take all that out of there, it's a good match. I think that's kind of what I've had to begin to learn when it comes to AEW. If I really want to just enjoy the tag team wrestling that they're going to provide, I have to stop thinking about the rules. Kind of like WWE. They have a lot of stupid shit. I just had to learn to go with it.
Pretty much.
Well, that's what we're doing with AEW. What'd you think of that John Moxley interview with JR?
Oh, it was great. It was great. Listen, I think JR, as much as we bust his chops for his ring announcing, His one-on-one interviews are still great.
I've
He's
always
still
loved
got
his
it.
one-on-one interviews. I've said it, my favorite interview segment, 2 interview segments. One was him with Stone Cold and Rock heading into WrestleMania, one of the most tense face-off interviews ever. But an entire DVD called The Greatest Rivalries with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels.
Yeah, I've seen that
He
one.
does. That is amazing, and it's just him shooting the shit with the guys, asking them questions, prepared questions, as opposed to calling live things on the fly. I think JR is, yes, you're right, we do give him shit, but that interview was old school JR, the stuff I loved watching, and Moxley, it was a real moment, man.
Oh, he nailed it.
That interview, it's not scripted.
Yep. Yeah, he nailed it. So, and it builds, right? It just builds. It builds the feud. That's where we're going. So
where are we going? More Jericho and Moxley, we're thinking?
I think Hager. Maybe a Hager Moxley match is likely next. Whether it's for the title or not, I don't know. But I have a funny feeling that's going to be the next one, and maybe Hager softens him up for the next match with Jericho. Right? They'll plan it the week after or something like that. Either way, I'm good with it. I'm curious to see how long Jericho's going to stick around because, I mean, let's be honest. Apart from him taking Guevara under his wing, the whole clique he's putting them all over. There's no doubt about it. Like, I didn't know anything much about LAX previously, but I love them. I love them. It's not just because I'm half Puerto Rican,
Yeah. No, I actually watched some of their stuff when they were in TNA, but not enough. Now I'm a very big fan of Santana and Ortiz. I think they have that. It's funny because they were in LAX. They really do remind me of Homicide and Hernandez. It's just those ass kickers, the pride of Puerto Rico coming in and just kicking ass and being them, true to themselves, thug-like. And I'm telling you, man, Santana, I really think could be a singles champ. I could watch him. I think he's a great performer, and he knows how to draw heat. I think Ortiz, he's got that. Okay, he's the crazy ace, right?
Yeah.
But at the same point, it is still a touch too much comedy for him.
Yep.
To be a singles star, Santana, I could see.
Santana, when he cut that promo on Moxley after getting the key jabbed into his eye, perfect. I mean, you saw
About
it right
his dad
there.
and all that stuff. Oh,
That he had it. He had the passion. That interview that he did with Jim Ross about his father.
That was the
being
one.
blind.
Yeah. Again,
Perfect.
Jim Ross.
Perfect.
Just sit
Yeah,
backstage and
right?
do
See,
just
we're
do
coming-
one interview a week. That's all we
We're
need.
coming around. Yeah, see, that's what. But we talked about that. We talked about things like that. Maybe a championship match here and there. So yeah. But
I think it'd actually be really cool this week every week we have our sit down interview with JR, and he interviews just one guy every week. Get me to know Jake Hagar. Or Hager,
right.
whatever, you know what I mean? Like, get me to know each one of these guys each week. Because then when they do come out, man, remember that interview we had with Jim Ross? Oh, that'd be great. And I'm going to watch this match. Personally, it's a way of building it. It's like these video promos. That's what we need to do. Jim Ross needs to just do backstage interviews weekly. But we do know, and we already said it, Hangman and Dustin defeated Jericho and Sammy Guevara, Les Sex Gods, in the main event. But what I'm loving is that for the last several weeks, we keep ending with the Shield style fist pose, but they're all middle fingers from the entire inner circle. I love it. I think it's freaking cool. I don't know why. I'm like, it's just partially Attitude Era, like just with them. I don't know why. It's like, and it's not even like, oh, it's so cool because they're flipping off or swearing. It's just something different. WWE is not putting 5 guys together and flipping off a camera while a guy is laying down motionless below them. I think that's actually a cool move. It's different. No one's doing it. Go for it. I like that that's how they've ended AEW the last couple of weeks, and I think it's going to be a trend for Inner Circle. It's going to be their new thing. So you had said, what's going to happen with Jericho, Ian, but let me ask you this. Can Fozzy really go on and even do concerts right now? Nope. So, So at this point, his best option may be to do a lot of these close, empty arena type things. We know that tonight is hailing from where Fyter Fest was in Jacksonville. So we only, tonight NXT is at the Performance Center, and AEW is going to be at the same place that they did, what is it, the Daly's Place, I believe it's called.
Daly's Place, yes, in Jacksonville.
Yeah. So, who knows how things are going to turn out, man. This is just, it's getting more and more confusing as we go on. Yo, ODM, do you know what time it is?
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for...
Best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be. Hold 2, arm bar.
Sodas rule. Yeah, they do.
Hold 3, the moss covered, 3-handle family granunzel. It's me, Austin.
Just when they think they ain't got the answers, I change the questions.
I did it for the rock.
This week's top topic.
You know something, Mean Gene? John C.
Wrestling's not fake.
The Rolex wearing one, diamond ring wearing one, kid stealing, woo, wheeling dealing one, limousine right one, jet flying one, son of a gun, woo.
Sierra Hotel, India, Echo, Lima, Delta, Shield.
If you smell.
The following ranking order and final decisions are a completely bias-based order, based off The Professor and ODM made it. And as always, they like to let you know they have not worked in the business, but have been lifelong invested fans much like you, our listeners. With not only their opinions involved, but with countless amount of hours of research done each week, they make sure to provide proper facts and history to back it up. However, they do know that your opinion may vary from theirs. If there is anything you want to chat about, bring to their attention. If there is something they missed or forgot, or you just want to let them know they are out of their freaking minds, feel free to shoot them a message on Facebook or Twitter, or email them at thetopofwrestling@gmail.com. As always, they do appreciate all feedback and continued support. At the end of the day, they want to make sure that you do see the best of the best before you die. And now, this week's top topic.
It's back, the top topic. This week we are talking about the top 10. I don't know if we want to call it top. I feel it's, well, no, yeah, definitely top. The top 10 missed opportunities in the last 10 years. Over the last decade, there's been a lot of things that you're like, well, yeah, that's the direction they're probably going to go with this. And I'm not just talking WWE, I'm talking about any promotion. This is where they're going to go with it, and then they don't. And you're like, wow, that was a missed opportunity. People would have went nuts for that. Kind of like, all right, the missed opportunity could have been, let's say, potentially for AEW. Let's say this coronavirus didn't happen. Tonight in Rochester, you debut Matt Hardy, and you save Brody Lee for next week. Why would you do that? The missed opportunity was in Rochester for the place to go absolutely nuts. It's a missed opportunity. You want to capitalize on the best opportunity as possible, not just storyline-wise, but just moments, right? And this week, it's ODM and I went, we had a list compiled. I think I had 35 on my own personal list of missed opportunities in just the last 10 years. There was other things that were popping into my head, and I go, no, that was 12 or 13 years ago. You know, it's really funny with how many missed opportunities are really out there. But it wasn't hard to agree on this week. This is actually a pretty, we're not going to sit here and say, oh, we're going to argue this week. Nope, nothing to argue about.
This is what George Carlin would call free-floating hostility, because that's essentially what the next half hour is going to be.
Probably. It's funny you mentioned him. I've been watching a lot of his stuff. The only reason he didn't get polio as a kid because he swam in raw sewage. And that's probably the reason that I am not going to get the coronavirus, because I travel by RV. I lick dirt. I don't shower. I'm just kidding about one of them. Anyway.
I got nothing. Put in the cricket sound effect there. That'll work.
So, when we talk about missed opportunities, every week when we provide for you our podcast, we want to provide the best of the best, but we also don't want to give you a lot of fluff and a lot of stuff that you don't need, right? Well, that's what our number 10 is. Number 10 for a missed opportunity in the last 10 years, at least over the last several. Monday Night Raw provides a 3-hour show. SmackDown provides a 2-hour show. That is a total combined of 5 hours. We're not even going to talk NXT, main event, any other show that they have. With that combined, we have 5 hours of television, and we have nothing to show for it. And I mean that. That's a missed opportunity. We're pushing the same guys all the time. We keep seeing the same stuff. But at the same point, with 5 hours of television, we should have some extremely progressed storylines. You got guys that you pay for that are writers that should be filling this stuff up no problem, like a TV sitcom, right? Yet, each week we are left after a 3-hour Monday Night Raw with a big void of saying, why did I just do that? And then it pretty much ends the same way with SmackDown. You know, I mean, everything is very predictable. I'm really curious on your opinion on this, ODM. What's your opinion when it comes to the whole 5 hours of TV? And, you know, let me ask you, how fulfilled are you with 5 hours of TV each week? Do you feel like you get a lot out of what we get?
No, if I'm playing on my phone, more than likely you've lost me. This is what you get. It's sports entertainment. It's not wrestling. It's sports entertainment. They've made that very clear over the course of many years. So it's not at all even close to being worth it. I used to make sure that I had time to watch these shows, and now I don't care. There have been several SmackDowns lately and SmackDown was the show of the two that I liked the most. And I just feel like, oh, I missed it. Yeah, well, okay, fine, I missed it. Whatever. I know nothing happened.
And you read about it, you're like, and I'm glad I didn't watch.
Yep, exactly.
It's the
same
like, okay, stuff.
There's like one thing, so like 15 minutes, maybe 20. It's just, there's no payoff.
Mundane, man. It's just the same stuff.
Like, listen, man, you know, again, this whole coronavirus thing, yeah, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm working from home indefinitely. My wife is working. My kids are out of school, so we're all home. So it's like, you know what? When we're done, if we get this done in time, I'm gonna watch Raw. And then I'm like, wait a minute. I'm gonna sit down and watch a 3-hour show. No, I'll take the dog for a walk. I'll play a game with my kids. No, I'm not gonna watch Raw.
I got a DVR for a
reason.
reason.
So it's half the length.
Exactly.
And I only need to get the big stuff. And even then I'm gonna be like, you know, it's a sad fucking time. We're on Raw. I'm looking forward to seeing Brock Lesnar. Like, that's exactly what I want to see, and that's really all I want to see.
Because you know you're going to get at least a good promo out of Heyman.
Exactly. Yeah, Paul
It's
Heyman.
something fun. Well, number 9, funny you mentioned that, man, Brock Lesnar. Our number 9 is the Undertaker's streak. Why do we feel like this is a missed opportunity? Yes, we all know that at WrestleMania 30 in Louisiana, Brock Lesnar shocked the entire world by ending The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak. I've said for years, I think it definitely went to the right guy. If you want to give heat to someone, people were really pissed off when that streak ended. But the more I think about it, were they pissed off that it was the streak ended in general, or because it was Brock Lesnar? I don't think anybody could carry the heat the way Brock Lesnar does when it comes to ending that streak. However, we talk about how Undertaker is helping build a guy like Bray Wyatt. How does Bray Wyatt, at that exact time, you put him in a program with John Cena? The smartest move you could have done, don't put him in a championship role. Don't put him against the face of your company. First, have Bray Wyatt kill off your entity, your biggest guy. Have him take him out and end his streak. If you're going to end anybody, or end the streak, it should have been someone that you were going to elevate. Let's take a look at Bray Wyatt's, what do you want to, I don't want to call it reign. We'll call it his first run or whatever before The Fiend and all this fun stuff. WrestleMania 30 loses to John Cena. WrestleMania 31 loses to Undertaker. WrestleMania 32 gets punked out like a bitch in front of an entire Dallas arena by The Rock. The next year, there's freaking worms in a ring. He has just not had anything great, and I think it all goes back to the streak. I really do. I think Bray Wyatt should have been the one. That was a missed opportunity. He should have been the one to end that streak. Now, if not Bray, who else could it have been? Do you know if there's anybody else in that time that you think could have carried it besides Brock or Bray?
At that time, no. And Brock, here's the thing. You can easily say that Brock didn't need it. But goddamn, man, it worked. It did work. Now, I agree with you. Why not Bray Wyatt? Because let's be honest. if you're looking for the next Undertaker, the next Sting, that next kind of transcendent superstar that does their own thing, it can't be replicated. It's its own thing. That's Bray Wyatt. It's always been Bray Wyatt. Maybe not Husky Harris, but it's always been Bray Wyatt. So why not give him the rub? Why not have him be the one to beat The Undertaker? And from there, like you said, like they rushed to put the title on him. They painted themselves in a corner. They could have got out of it a different way, different story. But you didn't need to put the belt on him. We already know.
I don't even think it was even a rush to put the title on him at that time. I think it was just weird timing. It wasn't even a rush. It was just like, really, right now you're going to have him head into WrestleMania with a title?
Well,
cool.
It all stemmed
we
from
better hold it.
It stemmed from Hell in a Cell because they fucked up the booking on that one. So then in Saudi Arabia, they're like, "Oh look!"
I'm talking about his first title. But yes,
okay,
you're talking about the Fiend's title. Yes,
gotcha. But but you even did that right, and you went nowhere with it. He was a transitional champion, pretty much.
See, now if that was the case, AJ Styles was the champion walking into Elimination Chamber that night. And Bray Wyatt. And I know this is kind of a missed opportunity, I guess we'll talk about. This wasn't really on our list, but I guess we're going to go down this tangent. Why did Bray win the Elimination Chamber just to be that transitional champion and hand it over to Orton? A couple of years later, you did Orton and Cena. Why didn't you just do Orton and Styles? Why didn't you just do it right there at WrestleMania 33? We could have been absolutely fine to see Styles defend his title, lose it to Orton. That would have been a classic right there. Done.
Yeah.
Done.
And
what did we get that year? We got Shane McMahon taking on AJ Styles. What do you do after you lose your title at WrestleMania? Well, you take on the chairman's son. That's what you do. Jeez. All right. Wow. All right, we're now turning this into the 100 missed opportunities of the last decade.
Fantasy booking.
All right. You did say a couple of minutes ago about, Sting, it's that phenom character, right? You need to pass that torch, and that's what they should have did with Bray Wyatt and Undertaker. Well, when you talk about Undertaker, everybody has always said, missed opportunity is what we have at number 8. Undertaker versus Sting. Sting came back at Survivor Series in 2014. Yes, okay. It was the end of 2014 that he shows up. Does a little thing there with Triple H, drops him, and the Authority loses in that match. Okay, I'm fine with it if you wanted to have a little bit of fun with him and Triple H and the Authority for a little bit. But when Sting came back, how was your first thought not to go, all right, here we go, Sting and Undertaker. This is the time. This is the opportunity. Here's why I say this. There's a couple of reasons behind this, okay? How did you not learn from your Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair debacle from years and years ago, right?
Took the words right out of my mouth.
Right? It was right there. You had it in the palm of your hands, and you shit on it, and you gave one of the worst WrestleManias ever to everybody, right? So, let's fix that. Now, let's go back into time here. I really don't give a shit at the end of the day when we're talking about missed opportunities, right? When we're talking about who won that or who ended the streak. When it came to this WrestleMania 31, at this moment, I don't necessarily care who ended the streak. If it ended, and it did at this point before Sting got here, which it did, fine. Why did Undertaker go on to fight Bray Wyatt after he had already lost to Cena and needed a strong push? But no, we'll have him lose to Undertaker because Undertaker lost his streak the year before. If you were going to have Sting get his shoulders put to the mat by Triple H, or just by anybody at that point, Undertaker needed a win. He beat Wyatt. Why didn't you just have him beat Sting at WrestleMania? Am I the only one missing this logic that you could have just did WrestleMania 31, Undertaker and Sting? Sting calls him out on Raw and says, you think you're dead, you're gone because you lost your streak, yada, 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 whatever. The thing was written in itself. No one ever said, man, one day, think about this, in 1998, 1999, everyone was saying, I want to see Undertaker. No, I'm sorry. Everybody was saying, I want to see Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Goldberg, right? It was the two hottest commodities at the time. They looked the same, right? Same trunks, bald head, everything, right? Everybody wanted to see that. Nowhere did anybody ever say, man, I really want to see Triple H versus Sting. Everyone wanted Undertaker versus Sting. It was the two phenom characters from the different promotions. Again, you could write it right now, anytime. We've hit multiple WrestleManias ever since, and you still didn't do it. Now, Sting had to retire because of that buckle bomb and everything that went wrong with Seth Rollins in that match.
That was
but
awful.
That just goes to show you threw him in a WWE title match before you actually did Undertaker versus Sting. Missed opportunity.
You know that both of these guys are in my top 10. Obviously, Taker's my favorite all time.
Yeah.
To me, this is my number one missed opportunity because, like you said, it's inherent, right? Like you don't need to feed this to the people. All you have to do is say Undertaker versus Sting.
You didn't even need a storyline. Even if you just opened up Raw one night and Michael Cole goes, ladies and gentlemen, we've just been given word that at WrestleMania, Undertaker's going to face Sting. It'd still be the best promo ever. You know what I mean?
No, the lights go. Undertaker's cutting a promo. Lights go out. Lights come up. Sting, bat in his hand. Bat points at the WrestleMania sign. Done.
Still one of my favorite non-talking promos ever was they've hyped up Undertaker's coming to Raw, Undertaker's coming to Raw right before WrestleMania 27. He shows up, goes to take his hat off, boom, Triple H's music hits, and he comes out to the ring. They both don't say a thing. They both look at the sign, cutthroat, crotch chop, and it's on. Now they're going to be facing each other at WrestleMania. Exactly the same way you're talking. How could you not do that with Sting and Taker? And like I said, it all really began right there at WrestleMania 30. Could have went right into 31. Now I don't want to see it at all. Please do not do it to me. Don't put those guys in the ring together.
Do it,
I
man.
don't give
Saudi Arabia show, guaranteed. They're going to do it in the Saudi Arabia
at WrestleMania
show.
36 in Saudi Arabia, like you called earlier. All right, coming in at number 7. You mentioned the broken gimmick earlier, the broken and woken gimmick. This is a missed opportunity. The missed opportunity is signing the Hardy Boys to WWE. That was a missed opportunity. They were the hottest thing in 2017 when it came to everything different with wrestling at that time. They were breaking the mold with the Hardy Compound, with the final deletion fights. Let's see, they had other matches with Decay, like all those things that were going on in TNA. Then they branch off and they face the Bucks of Youth. They face Dem Boys. They just had they had all these great tag matches everywhere. They became Ring of Honor tag champs. The broken gimmick, delete, obsolete. All the words you were hearing was taking the internet wrestling community by storm. WWE signs them WrestleMania, one of the biggest pops, right? We just talked about it last week in debuts, right? And that was it. That is the last thing I could personally remember anything decent of the Hardy Boys since their return. Yeah, they won the tag titles. They had a weird series with The Bar, which could have been so much better, but was flopped around like a fish out of water.
It was beaten to death. And then you did have Matt and Bray.
Okay, but it wasn't enough.
But that was a missed opportunity in itself.
Exactly. You had broken Matt Hardy. You had Brother Nero. You had the creation and the creativity of Matt Hardy right there, and WWE didn't want to use it. They were telling him what to do, and that's the issue. Matt's too creative for that. Maybe that's why he's going out and looking for a different area right now to be able to spread that type of education and expertise with what he does, because honestly, he has a great mind for the business. Storytelling is in Matt's blood. He knows how to build a character out. He knows how to work a crowd. He knows how to work the internet. He's going to be very useful wherever he goes. WWE really dropped the ball when it came to the entire broken and woken gimmick. They could have done it 10 times in the last several years since WrestleMania 33. We're going into WrestleMania 36. 3 years ago that they show up in Orlando. And what do you have to show for it other than they showed up at Orlando?
Nothing.
Thank you. I was gonna accept your silence, but that's all right. You said nothing, and that was just as good. All right, coming in at number 6. Everybody talks about one of the biggest missed opportunities was at the 2014 Royal Rumble when Daniel Bryan didn't show up in the match. Hey, I got news for you. He wasn't advertised for it. He was in the first match against Bray Wyatt in the beginning of the night. Neither guy was supposed to be in the match. Batista was going to come in and win. It didn't matter whatever anybody wanted, okay? That happened. But 2015 was a missed opportunity in the last 10 years. How do you not bounce back from one of the worst ending Royal Rumble reactions of all time? People are booing the living shit out of Batista to the point where he got the name Boo-tista. Everyone's hating on it so much. So here we are, 2015 Royal Rumble. You've announced that you got Roman Reigns in there. You've announced Bray Wyatt. And you've also announced the returning Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan's been out because after he won the world title, he was out with a concussion and had some issues. Finally, he's back. This is the opportunity for him. Hey, you know what? Maybe at WrestleMania 31, this would be a good chance for him to even get back in that title picture. All right, this is smart. Because at that time, Brock Lesnar is also your world champion. This is perfect. It's all writing itself. And Daniel Bryan goes out by like number 8, I think. He was like number 4 or 5 into the match and was out within a couple. Bray Wyatt eliminates him quickly. In this, missed opportunity now becomes even worse because now the crowd is going, oh shit, we all know where this is going. Roman Reigns is going to win it. And at this point, I think if you had let Roman win it the year before when Batista won, crowd would have absolutely been fine with it.
Right.
You did it a year too late, and you were already shoving him down our throat. You had him clear everybody out of the Survivor Series match. Every Raw has been built and based around Roman Reigns since the Shield broke up. So it's inevitable that he's probably going to be winning this Royal Rumble. But you didn't even want to make it interesting. You got rid of all of the guys that everybody really wanted early. And then you have the authority, for fuck's sake, Kane and Big Show just literally clear every potential decent guy that was left on the roster. You're like, okay, maybe he could win this for us. Ziggler, Ambrose, Miz, I mean, anybody that was being tossed out, you're like, okay, yeah, he'll go on. I'm fine with it. Anybody right now, but anybody but Roman. Sounds like a Bray Wyatt promo. Even when Rusev was still under the ring, and you're like, God, let him be the one. The whole thing was just a missed opportunity. And what did you do? You sent out The Rock. You're like, this will work. I can just imagine right now, Vince. It's The Rock. They'll love it. They're gonna eat it up, and they're gonna cheer for Roman. My favorite picture, if you could still frame it of all time, is The Rock's face when the crowd is at the deepest boo. He turns and does this quick little look like, I don't think that's what was supposed to happen. They didn't tell me that was happening tonight. I mean, he hadn't heard those types of boos since Die Rock Die. It was the whole night, the entire Royal Rumble was a giant missed opportunity. One of the worst Royal Rumbles I've ever seen. And I'm a huge Royal Rumble fan. There's nothing to write home about that. Unless you just want to watch something to get yourself really, really pissed off in a bad mood, that's the one you should watch.
The last few have been pretty good, though.
No, the one where Nakamura won, that was good.
McIntyre.
This past year was good. Yes, I'm there with you. Even last year with Rollins winning wasn't that bad. I was okay with it. But 2014, 15, and then 2016 was followed up with, let's see, who won. I know 17 was Randy Orton, so the winner of 2016. Oh, it was, for the title, it was Triple H.
That's right.
Because Roman Reigns,
Roman Reigns at WrestleMania.
Yeah. See, the only notable thing for me out of that one was AJ Styles making his debut. That's the only thing I remember out of that entire Royal Rumble. I can normally remember winners, but I'm like, nah, I don't really care about that one. Now, so that was that. Now we're halfway through the list. Number 5. Do you remember? Not this past December, but the December before when WWE came out and they said, you are the authority. We're going to listen to all of you. This is the plan from here on out. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh, so I wasn't dreaming it.
No, because I know how to hold a grudge.
You promised me, God damn it. And that's just that's it, man. Number 5 is listening to the fans. They said they're going to listen to everyone, and this is what we're going to give you. And now let's just fast forward. I don't even know how many months. Let's see. Your best in the World Cup goes to Shane McMahon. He's in several storylines with him and Kevin Owens. Let's see. Your title picture didn't change much. Much of the same guys who were buried are being buried. Everybody we said we wanted in not even a title picture, just TV, wasn't being pushed. The only thing that we got what we wanted, the only time we were listened to was Triple H was listening to us. NXT.
Yeah.
I don't think Raw or SmackDown, anything WWE show programming produced, we have been given. They were full of shit. You're right. We're holding a grudge against that. I'm still waiting for them to go, hey, remember we said we were going to do that? All right, we lied. They should at least just come out and acknowledge that they lied about that. Oh, my God. And you know what? I don't think we necessarily even need to hold on to this number that long. That's it. Number 5. They didn't listen to the fans. There's so many missed opportunities just in general. I mean, really just go anywhere from whenever they said that. So December of 2018? Yeah, December 2018 all the way to now. They haven't listened to anything.
Cesaro would be world champ right now.
Thank you. 100%. And Bray Wyatt would have ran through the entire roster and not had the Hell in a Cell issue that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we spent a lot of missed opportunity times here on WWE, maybe because they give us so many. But I actually am going to go and say number 4, the missed opportunity, I'm going to go ahead and say is Ring of Honor. They could have been what AEW is. I don't know how their business runs, okay? I don't know what money they have, what kind of purse they carry. But here's the thing. You had all the talent sitting right there. You had a great partnership going with New Japan for the longest time. You had Omega, the Bucks, AJ Styles. I'm talking AJ even before all of this stuff right now. You had Adam Cole. You had the Undisputed Era. You had Nakamura. All of these guys are all in one area, including Cody too, right? At this time?
Yeah. Cody was the champ.
All right. All these guys are somewhat under the same umbrella all at the same time. And this could have been, I think, the biggest competition for WWE. Ring of Honor has always been, in my eyes, what do you want? The black sheep of the family or whatever. The one that's just there. It's not black sheep because that means that they're bad.
Funny. It's like because they were, I would say, on a whole, better than Impact, but never had the exposure that Impact had.
Correct. And it really does come down to money. And, you know, they got set up with the Sinclair broadcasting for TV. The problem is with Ring of Honor is, I mean, I never know what to expect. When you turn it on, it's on at like 70 different times during the day. Right. Sometimes 3 in the morning, sometimes 1 in the afternoon. And I'm like, I don't even know if I've seen this episode or not because it's all random times. The issue is, from what my understanding is I think that Ring of Honor, you know, when it comes to Sinclair and everybody who's been running things there, you know, at one point Jim Cornette was doing a lot of the booking there. You know, Delirious does bookings, but they weren't giving a lot of creativity to the guys. You know, kind of like with what Matt Hardy craves. It's what he wants. He wants to be him. He wants to do his type of thing, and that's what Cody wanted. That's what Omega wanted. The Bucks, Paige, everyone in the Elite. They weren't given that in everywhere else, and they could have had that, I think, in Ring of Honor. They could have taken Ring of Honor over and made it the biggest competition WWE has seen in a very, very, very long time. However, it's not what happened, and now we have AEW, and unfortunately, we're seeing a drowning Ring of Honor. I mean, things are just happening that you don't even see, you know, because it's just not on the horizon anymore as much as AEW, NXT, WWE, or even New Japan. With Ring of Honor, the one saving grace you're seeing right now is they've allowed Marty Scurll to really get involved with booking and being creative. Maybe they saw the wrongs that they did with some of the things like Cody and some of the other guys that they didn't give that creativity to. I'm not, this is me just assuming, right, or guessing. Maybe Marty's talk could have been, hey, you didn't do it for them. I could walk just as easily, or let me help do some things around here and I'll sign. You know what I mean? He's a smart guy for the business. You and I talked about that. When they signed him for that, the guy's got a mind for the business, and especially where he came from, the years of progress. He came up from the ground up. So I think that Marty could do some good for the company. I think all those other guys could have done that much more, especially the Bucks. The way they promote.
Yeah, I think, like you said with Marty, I think it's maybe he just wants a piece for himself. Maybe he figures with how he is, he can just kind of do his thing and see what he makes of it, right? And good on him. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It's just you had everything there. Like you almost feel like it's easy for us to say, right? Because we don't own multi-million-dollar companies and we don't have that kind of funding.
Yeah, no, we're 2K20 in this game right now. Right, you know what I mean?
Wow, that's giving us credit. But yeah, it's easy for us to say, yeah, you had what you needed. Easy for us to say, I guess, but it still is a missed opportunity because you had everything that you had on your roster at that point are the biggest things in wrestling right now.
Yeah, I mean, think about your world champ. We won't take Moxley on that, but your NXT champ is Adam Cole.
Yeah.
He was Ring of Honor for the longest time. Undisputed Era. I mean, every guy from Undisputed Era really was right in that era, or right in that area. But then the guys that are on AEW, SCU, I mean, they were big players in Ring of Honor. They left because maybe they just saw the writing on the wall. There's people in Ring of Honor that I'm like, if it does go down, man, I really hope the Briscoes can get somewhere, man, because they are one of my favorite tag teams of all time. And I've always been a very big fan of Mark and Jay Briscoe. And they've stayed true to Ring of Honor since day one, man. I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think Mark was like 16 or 17 or some shit like that when they debuted in Ring of Honor. They were young, and they're still there. And I love the loyalty. It's kind of like the Sting waiting all the way down when WCW went down.
Sure.
But
would you like to see the Briscoes in AEW?
Absolutely. I don't want to see him in WWE. I want to see him in AEW.
Oh, hell yeah.
Not even NXT.
No.
AEW, I think they would be perfect. Think about them versus Santana and Ortiz.
I was just thinking that. Perfect.
Man, and they had a great feud just this past summer. Yep. I talk about it already with Gorillas of Destiny. I'm a very, very huge fan of Tama Tonga. We know that. That's another guy I'd like to see heading into AEW as well. I put him on the mic.
G.O.D., Proud and Powerful, and the Briscoes. Okay.
Your tag division would be unbelievable.
It would be the best.
And even with SCU, Private Party, even if you kept
Bucks.
Hangman Page and Omega, the Bucks, everybody, yeah. No, Death Triangle, I mean, you really do have a lot of, you're right.
Yeah,
bring
Lucha
those
Bros.
tag teams over there, man. And we didn't talk about it in the news yet, but we're going to quickly just go back for about 20 seconds. The Revival were sent home with no pay. And I'm not sure if you've caught, but they're trying to get on and start to trademark some names. Cash Wilder.
Yeah, man.
I think we're going to be seeing the Revival heading over to AEW. And they even made a mention of the Revival just recently on the Being the Elite. Did you catch that?
They've done it several times. And Cody's whole
but even more so now
was great.
Listen.
In the let's break it down to just the tag team portion of the wrestling world.
Sure.
The Revival to AEW is story number 1.
Yep.
You put the Revival. I know a lot of people that don't like the Revival. I get it because it is. It's old school. It's no flips, right?
No flips, just fists. But you know what? That's exactly what
they're so great
Arn and Tully were.
And they're top guys because one of them knocked out the guy who tried to attack Bret Hart.
I remember texting you. I go, this dude just became like in my top 5 all time for the fact that he just did that. Yep.
So yeah, I think the Revival going to AEW, it has to happen.
And like you said, man, bring in the Briscoes, bring in Gorillas of Destiny, man. Just start tallying up your tag team division.
If G.O.D. ever shows up in AEW, we're going to have to skip a podcast episode because my voice will be gone from marking out like a little bitch.
I'll be honest with you, man. There's certain people I'm like, that would be the biggest acquisition for AEW right now. Believe it or not, I think Tama Tonga, even before Gorillas of Destiny, I think they would come as a whole, but
Yeah.
Tama Tonga would be one of the biggest acquisitions. The dude can spit fire on a mic. He can wrestle. He can piss the crowd off, or he can make them cheer him. The guy's awesome. And honestly, think about this, man. You bring him and Tonga Loa over, and your manager is Haku. You're done. You're done.
And then, let's fantasy book this a little further. What if Samoa Joe shows up?
Oh, dude.
Samoa Joe versus Tama
He
Tonga?
might as well, because they are done with
Yeah.
Samoa Joe and WWE.
He's dead.
There's nothing they're going to be able to do
He's
with
dead to them now.
too many injuries, too much time off. But they're going to own him. That's the problem. They're going to own him for that time off. That's the issue with WWE. They fuck you with the cell phone. They fuck you. They fuck you. They fuck you. Sorry.
I know what movie I'm going to watch tonight now.
Right, there you go. Number 3, man, one of the biggest flops. This one I wanted to put at number 1. I mean, there's a lot that we could really do here. But number 3 goes to Nexus. We talked about this just recently. We talked about it in our 50 Stables episode. You know, we've talked about it a couple of different times. But
yeah,
really, an entire group was buried by one man within a couple of month period. The Nexus debut, they run rampant. They beat the shit out of and choke everybody that's sitting ringside. They rip up the entire ring. They take out Cena and Punk. The infamous Daniel Bryan choking out Justin Robertson, and he got fired from it. But amount of heat. I mean, you got Otunga, Darren Young, Ryback or Skip Sheffield at the time, Heath Slater, Justin Gabriel, and Michael Tarver, all being led by Wade Barrett.
Hell yeah, man.
Wade was money on the mic since day one. He was money in the ring since day one. The guy was he had the tools. He was everything that I thought Vince would be 100% behind.
Yeah, this would be my number 2, man.
Right? SummerSlam 2010 comes along, and we have the Nexus taking on a team of, and I'm not going to get everybody's name in this, but it's just a rough idea as to what we're dealing with. Because, Nexus, an entire team that's banded together against one whole promotion. You have Cena with Daniel Bryan, who was on the Nexus team. Could have been a perfect little swerve, by the way, at the very end. Was supposed to be The Miz, but he was taken over by that. Edge and Jericho, who have been feuding with each other so much that it doesn't really matter that they're on the same team. Bret fucking Hart, because, he was retired after all of this stroke and everything. That's right, Bret Hart was on this team at SummerSlam 2010. It was weird, but yet, they win. WWE wins. Team WWE wins. No, I'm sorry. Team John Cena wins.
Yes.
Cena takes out everybody at the end. This group, remember, was taking out everybody. They took out Big Show, Taker, fucking Vince McMahon. McMahon took Skip Sheffield's hard clothesline, Ryback. He took Justin Gabriel's splash off the top rope. I mean, how much over could Vince have wanted these guys to go? And then you put them in SummerSlam at the pay-per-view and you say, goodbye. All right, fine. Maybe the Nexus could still build a little bit. You go into Survivor Series and Cena gets fired if he doesn't win the title. Nope, still doesn't win the title. Are you serious? Then the Nexus gets taken over by CM Punk. So many missed opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
They screwed the pooch on this. Absolutely. It's the best way to... it pisses me off every time I think about the Nexus situation. Because, and I've said this before, why? This is the exact time I met my wife, roughly around this, and I'm trying to convince her to watch wrestling. Really, really am. And she goes, I don't get it. How does one guy beat 10?
Yeah.
It's wrestling. No, but I don't get it. No, I know.
I
no, but
know.
like, how did he just do that? You're not going to watch us anymore, are you? Well, no, it's stupid. Yeah, I know. It's hard to convince someone to watch something like that when you're like, logic is right there on the wall, but one guy just beat an entire gang.
Yeah.
The guy with fists beat everybody with machine guns. No problem. Number 2. This kind of... Number 2 and number 1 almost kind of go together. Number 3, 2 and 1 really all go together if you really, at the end of the day, want to put it that way. But number 2 is creating new stars. over the last several years, yes, you really did create Roman Reigns, okay? You created Braun Strowman. You got some guys that you've been pushing, but there's so much other talent that is on your roster that you are failing to push. In the last 10 years alone, I mean, think about what you're doing with some of the guys. I mean, I'm not saying you have to create a new star in Bobby Lashley, but what the fuck are you doing with Bobby Lashley? You know, I mean, like, you brought him back for
He's
what?
disappeared. Thank
Again,
God.
because Rusev disappeared.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But Rusev is on that list. Like, Rusev, why is he not a star? He had a brief run with the U.S. title.
Cesaro is one of the biggest ones.
Cesaro is the one.
The biggest, and he's the name I wrote down near the side of this one, because how do you have him pick up Big Show in one of the cleanest looking body slam type presses? It was better than Hogan and Andre.
Oh, that's not hard. Well,
but my point is that Big Show's toes were in the fucking sky. Like,
right.
It was the best looking one. Throws him over the top rope in the very first ever Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I'm pretty sure everybody was saying all night, yeah, Big Show's winning it, Big Show's winning it. I did. Cesaro was in the opening contest on the pre-show. I didn't even think he was even going to be in the match, let alone win it.
Right.
Next night on Raw, you align him with Paul Heyman. Dude's going to be a world champ. Nope. He was buried by McMahon only months later on the Stone Cold podcast when he said he doesn't think that he's going to be the one to grab that brass ring. How do you do that to Cesaro, man? You took the rug right out from under his legs. The guy has the tools. He is well-spoken in multiple languages. He is a phenomenally strong athlete.
Hell yeah.
And he busted his fucking face. He took his teeth and chewed a turnbuckle post or whatever.
A post, yeah.
For your business. And you guys still don't do anything with him. Sheamus gets sidelined. Cesaro, what are you going to do? Nothing with him the entire time while he was
He's naturally over. Like, they don't even have to work at getting him over. He's already over. All they have to do is push him. Once they push him, crowds are going to pop even more.
Yeah. Cesaro and Daniel Bryan had a great empty arena match on SmackDown this past week. Cesaro has all the tools, man, and I was disappointed that he didn't win the Intercontinental title when we talked about last week. But, hey, it's okay. It went to the same crew of guys. That's okay.
Yeah, right.
Sami Zayn, I'm all right with. It was his first one. But at this point, I'm almost like, fuck it. Don't win a title. Matter of fact, just ride it out. Act shitty. Who cares? And go on to somewhere else, man. I don't care. Like, when he was in Ring of Honor, Kings of Wrestling, him tagging with Chris Hero. I mean, Cesaro has had the tools since day one. He's been with the company nearly a decade as it is. And how do you not do anything with him? He was a U.S. champ for a little bit. He's tag champ multiple times. Very, very big fan of the Bar. I thought it was a great team.
Bar was great.
You took two guys that were great, strong world champion athletes, and you said, all right, well, we have nothing for you guys right now. And they said, fuck it, we'll do something as a team. And they had innovative moves. They brought tag team wrestling back. They reminded me of Powers of Pain. Two big behemoth guys that they were beating up younger small guys like Hardy Boys and things like that. Not necessarily younger, but you know what I mean, the smaller stature guys. They had great matches with New Day, Usos. I mean, the list goes on. Sheamus, I think he gets kind of a bad rep too. But he's a homegrown talent that I don't think they push properly enough. Cesaro, not homegrown. It was too fast. Almost too fast, and then it just kind of flopped from there. But Cesaro, maybe not homegrown, man, but you got a loyal dude that has been there nonstop and works every match and has just stellar matches, like you said. I mean, he's consistent. He's a great worker. He's a missed opportunity. Cesaro. I feel like number 2 really should just be Cesaro's our missed opportunity. We talk so much about just him alone. You know, we're saying not pushing or creating new talent or creating stars. It's the one we can't stop thinking about, man. I really think it is. I mean, yeah, you try to push Elias, you try to push Owens, you push all these other guys. Cesaro's a guy that you dropped the ball on, man. You did not push Cesaro.
Yeah.
Multiple times. Now, our number one you know, it's funny we talk about Cesaro. He was kind of a gatekeeper for a little bit when it came to NXT, and that's what we're talking about is the NXT call-ups. They are the biggest missed opportunity over the last decade. It all started with Cesaro and Sami Zayn. They were having some matches with each other when Sami was just getting started in NXT. He was going down there being the gatekeeper, saying if you even want to come up to the big leagues, you want to come up to Raw or SmackDown, you got to make your way through me first. And he had some great matches on there with not only Sami Zayn, but Tyler Breeze, multiple guys. NXT, as we already know, became the pinnacle of what we all love with wrestling. They were shining guys the way that we were hoping they would on Raw and SmackDown.
Right.
So we were seeing guys win the title like Bobby Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Andrade. These are guys that have won your NXT title. Had some great matches. Aleister Black. Some great matches down there. I mean, we're talking 4 to 5 star classics. Any one of them you could put on right now and be 100% satisfied with. Asuka. Jeez. We're going to go there. I'd say the only thing that got the best call-ups ever out of NXT was Charlotte, Bayley, Becky Lynch.
Kevin Owens.
Not going to say Sasha. Not going to say Sasha. Wait, did I say Sasha Banks? No. Bayley, Charlotte, and Becky Lynch got the best. Sasha Banks has gotten screwed when it comes to being on the main roster, I think. I don't think she's been anything stellar. Name anybody that's had a good career coming out of NXT besides them.
Kevin Owens.
Did he? Okay, we'll say
to be
decent.
Optimistic.
Okay, you know what? Hang on, I'm going to go decent because he was told he would never even see the fucking main roster. So for the fact that he's even there, that's true. Honestly, I've always been a big fan of him. I actually just recently came across on YouTube the night that him and Elias pissed off the entire Seattle crowd by just saying that why is there even a basketball team in Seattle? And they got one of the harshest boos and reactions, and I just love watching Owens. You're right. Okay, he did have a pretty good run.
And Drew, as of now.
Now, but where is he? Well, he got injured for a little bit.
It's early. But even
it
that,
is.
they went slow with him, which was okay.
But let's talk about your other guys, man. Bobby Roode?
Yeah. Well,
what did you do with him?
Thing. All right, so with Bobby Roode, he's with Ziggler now. And those are both two quality workers who can work with anybody. They can take a win. They can take a loss. Doesn't matter.
I don't buy it. It's just two random guys put together. I don't even see why they're together right now.
I understand what you're saying. I'm saying of all the shit booking that WWE does, at least they've got two good workers together. Two guys that, I'm kind of done with Ziggler, but Roode, yeah, I like. So, yeah, I get it. Here's the thing. Like, you wrote a list. You've mentioned some people. I'm just going to read names.
Yep.
Okay? People who a lot of people loved before they made it to NXT. And then they went to NXT.
Sure.
And Asuka, Nakamura, Balor, The Revival, Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, Aleister Black, Ricochet, AOP, War Raiders, Neville.
Oh my God, War Raiders! I didn't even think about how much that was.
Look at that! Look at
they
that!
They came
list.
over as War Machine from Ring of Honor.
If you had to build a roster, all right. Now, granted, there's only one woman on this list. All right, so but take that like here. This is your roster to start with. Okay.
Mm-hmm. On any show, I'm good.
Squandered. And you mentioned Andrade. Same thing. Yeah, he's the U.S. champion. He's fought Humberto Carrillo and Rey Mysterio. That's all. That's all he's done.
Yep.
In like 6 months.
The direction I'd like to see him go, as I said, either have him go against Aleister Black with that U.S. title, or, honestly, right after Drew McIntyre hopefully dethrones Brock Lesnar, I say Andrade goes after Drew.
Because Andrade lost his title. Andrade beat Drew for the NXT title.
Yeah, exactly. It's almost built into itself. Hey, we always talk about how storylines are just pretty much built right into themselves, and they don't do it.
Missed opportunity.
Thank you. Well, man, and Asuka was. Geez, I don't know who is the biggest flop of all time. Well, Nakamura,
he was naturally over when he debuted, and then he won the Rumble, and that was it.
But that was the problem. he won the Rumble too late. And here's why I say that. He went into, all right, I'm going to get my times right here. WrestleMania 32 weekend, he went into Dallas and fought Sami Zayn and won.
Yep.
Went that entire year in NXT, won the title, had matches with Samoa Joe, ended up losing the title to Bobby Roode. Heading into WrestleMania 33 weekend, or in WrestleMania 33 weekend, you have him debut on SmackDown after that WrestleMania with a live guitar performance. It looked like, oh my God, this guy's getting pushed to the freaking moon. It's going to be huge.
Violin.
Violin, thank you. I'm sorry. I was thinking of his WrestleMania entrance where I think he had a guitarist playing too, right?
Okay. Maybe.
Maybe not. I don't know. And then from there, you had him fight. Hang on. All right, and then from there, you had him fight Dolph Ziggler in his opening match against Backlash. Okay, sure. All right, I'm okay. I'm there. And then you had him lose multiple times to Jinder freaking Mahal for the world title.
Yeah.
Should have been a given at this point. Just strap him with it. If you're going to put him in the title picture, you better strap him with it. You didn't. And then we went months of him doing nothing. That when he finally won the Royal Rumble, it was like, you better shit get off the pot here. And then he loses to AJ Styles at WrestleMania, turning heel. And then he became the king of dick kicks. I mean, all he did was just low blow everybody for the longest time. He is probably the biggest male flop out of NXT. The biggest female flop we already know is Asuka. How do you have her? You said we're going to not only have her be undefeated as a world or as an NXT champion, we're going to have it carry over all the way into this, and you had her lose to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. Now, I'm okay, believe it or not, with that, because I think a streak is sometimes too predictable, or it's distracting, right?
Sure.
Once she lost, now she's a contender. She's a fighter, just like everybody else. Let's just enjoy her matches now. Now there is the opportunity she could lose, so it's that much more important.
Right.
When you saw her fighting the likes of Bayley and all those people on NXT, you're like, she's not losing the title to this person. You knew she was not losing the title the whole way along the way. To Ember Moon, all those ladies, right? So my point to that is, if she didn't drop that NXT title, she didn't lose the NXT title.
No.
She just dropped it. How in the fuck do you have her go lose to Charlotte Flair and not do anything with her?
You buried her right away.
If you were to lose, right away. Now, if you wanted to have her lose to Charlotte, right after that, maybe she should have started a brand new streak and never lost again or something like that. And at WrestleMania 35, she finally wins the title. But then we had The Man, and Ronda Rousey. All that stuff was all naturally happening. By the time Asuka won the title at TLC,
they had to strip
people
it
were
right
like,
off of her.
Right after by giving it to Charlotte again. It was like, well, what was the point? Yeah. I want to say, I don't know is anybody actually interpreting anything that she says?
I don't know, but her I hate to say performance, but her at Elimination Chamber,
I loved it.
Was perfect.
Awesome. It had me jacked up to the moment she got into the ring.
Like, I was crawling up underneath a blanket, like, please don't hurt me. She can't come through the TV, right? She can't come through the TV.
Right? Dude, it was passionate.
Yeah, it was
especially awesome. The tongue roll. I was like, gosh, she's really going. But what I'm saying is, I'm not sure if anybody's interpreting it. For all we know, she's probably saying, fuck this company. You guys have been burying me since fucking day one.
Yeah, right.
Fuck everybody here watching me. Fuck you. You're cool, but I'm out of here. Like, I feel like that's probably what she's saying, but we just don't know it. You're right. She's an awesome character, man, and they dropped the ball on her. They dropped the ball on Nakamura. They dropped the ball on a list of everybody you named. I mean, the biggest one, honestly, one of the biggest ones was probably Finn Balor. I mean, they tried with him.
Yeah, it's just that.
And then he got injured, but as soon as that injury was over, they said, fuck it, we're done with him. And that was the worst decision possible, I think. So many opportunities they could have had with all these guys. I still think Bobby Roode, I mean, he was the it factor in TNA, and you bring him over here, he's nothing. Right. EC3, you had him in NXT for 4 minutes, now he's nothing. Eric Young, nothing. I mean, really, I don't even have to keep the list going. Honestly, I could just go to any year NXT roster, and probably AOP is another one, man. Like you said, them already. They were tag champs in there, and now they are assistant to the tag champs on Monday Night Raw.
Former tag champs.
True. You like the assistant too, in a little office here. Anyway,
no,
it's just it's annoying, man. It's a lot of missed opportunities. We can only hope. Hey, man, we're in a new decade, new year. We're only in March. We're in March, almost into WrestleMania season, but we don't even know what's going to happen with COVID-19 going on. But one thing you can guarantee, the show is going to keep going. We don't need to take a break anytime soon. You know why? The social distancing between us is so many miles apart. I don't think it's possible I could spread a disease to him other than a computer virus.
Avoid the clap. The Professor. That's good advice.
Oh, man, you ended on a Tom Hanks note. I love it. So, what's to come here? Hey, guys, next week is going to be, honestly, the biggest episode that ODM has been just cringing to do. He is not cringing in a bad way.
My brain's going to explode. My brain's going to explode.
I almost feel like I may actually give you the reins on this, man, the full list, because we're going to argue too much back and forth. But it's the top 25 matches of NXT so far. You know, we're not even just talking TakeOver, man. Their TV has had some stellar matches. I mean, freaking Rhea Ripley dethroned Shayna Baszler on NXT TV. So
called it.
You did. You absolutely called it. A lot of matches we're going to be talking about. That's next week. The week after, we're going to talk WrestleMania week anyway. We're going to talk about the top 10 WrestleMania events ever, because that following Sunday may or may not be WrestleMania. So when we talk about those 10, we don't know right now, but when we talk about those 10 events, maybe that'll help you decide as to what you want to watch if it does get canceled. I really can't get on board watching an empty arena, or I can't watch a WrestleMania Performance Center. I can't. If you're going to do WrestleMania, I really think the coolest thing to do, the best case scenario, man, I'm giving it right back to ODM. Do it. Make it happen. 6 feet, 10 feet apart, however many feet. Make a wish, kids. The entire arena in Tampa, the entire stadium that you're going to do for WrestleMania, just give all the tickets to them. Space them out enough where you could still do this through the coronavirus. You're still producing a show. Everyone goes home happy. Let's see. Maybe that's... And ODM is the one that called it. You all need to remember that. But 3 weeks from today, I don't even know what we're going to be covering 3 weeks from today. It's supposed to be the best of WrestleMania 36 weekend. Should be normally things like, you know, all the WrestleCons and events. Maybe having to make a different decision that day. Maybe that's a day we're going to end up doing a little bit of fantasy booking. Who knows? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much again for listening to us here on the Top of Wrestling podcast. We know that many of you are catching us through one of the biggest ones has been Spotify and iTunes. But, of course, we do have Google Play. We have Podbean, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Honestly, this has been fun. It's always been fun, and it's going to continue to be fun. You can't shut us down. We're going to keep the show going. The show goes on. And as always, I am the Professor. I do bid you a farewell. Till next week, ODM is going to leave us all with just 15 words.
Who would have thought that a pandemic is all WWE needed to boost its numbers? All right, hold on. Cut the music. We're not done just yet. As soon as we got done recording, it looks like we got a little bit of piece of news, just like we had been talking about. And unfortunately, none of my predictions came true. It looks like WrestleMania is going to take place at the WWE Performance Center. They've confirmed that with an announcement at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. They're going to be canceling all events with large groups and limiting restaurants to half capacity. That's the city of Tampa. And a statement from WWE, quote, In coordination with local partners and government officials, WrestleMania and all related events in Tampa Bay will not take place. However, WrestleMania will still stream live on Sunday, April 5th at 7 p.m. Eastern on WWE Network and be available on pay-per-view. Only essential personnel will be on the closed set at WWE's training facility in Orlando, Florida to produce WrestleMania, end quote. We should have been ready for this. It definitely seemed like that's the way it was going to go. And figured we might as well just throw that in there. I'm sure by the time everybody's listening, you're already going to know this, but felt obliged to tell you. So, good wrestling day indeed.
Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through. Just let your